Hey, what's going on, guys? Guys and gals, the C.T.S.O. Cut that shite out. Look, I had to take down my last video because, this morning I woke up, I took a look at it, and I was like, what the hell? I'm like yelling into the mic and everything, just amped up. And that was before I went to bed. I put the video up and went to bed. So now that I was checking it this morning, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Nah, can't have that. So I set it to private. I was having trouble taking it down, so I just set it to private. Funny. Um, so that's listen. This is a remake. So this is a remake of the surveillance state that we are in. That was this same name. That was the name of my last video. So I'm just redoing this. All right. There are some points I really wanted to hit up on. I really wanted my audience, all of you folks, to understand just how dangerous today's time is. And a lot of you might understand. But let me bring some things into a better perspective. You know how we roll. Okay. So we are in a surveillance state. There's cameras everywhere. There's wireless devices everywhere. And I've got a problem with this. I've got these devices here. They're called Raspberry Pis. I did not name them Raspberry Pis. They're actually called Raspberry Pis. They have a footprint of a credit card, but they're thicker than a credit card. So here's one. I got this rainbow case here, right? I thought that was a pretty cool case. Makes it look like a Lego toy to me, but it's actually a computer. That one's actually called Thing 1. I named it Thing 1. This right here, this is Thing 2. All right. So with these devices here, they're little computers, and they're small enough to put somewhere where someone's not going to see them. And they're able to gather information. Everything is wireless right now. So you can really have some serious fun with these. Not that I do, but you can have some serious fun with them. So say that I'm at a coffee shop, or say that a coffee shop, or say that I'm at a bar or at a restaurant. What I could do is I can put a Raspberry Pi somewhere. I can get it on the system, right? All this free Wi-Fi. Free Wi-Fi is a little dangerous, guys. But with that free Wi-Fi, I can ARP poison the system, ARP poison the system, which really is not that hard. And I can then start listening in for other people's traffic. By listening, I mean I'm at my laptop. There's a Raspberry Pi wherever. It could be in my pocket. I can put it in the corner, plugged in, whatever. I can hide it. And what it's going to do is it's going to put itself in line between everyone's computer. It will see everyone's traffic. So what I would do is I could, if I wanted to, I can connect a terabyte hard drive, and I could sit there and watch what you're looking at. I can see your text, I can see your images, anything that you're looking at. I can see what websites you're on, all right? Because you're on the Wi-Fi. So I'm basically on the Wi-Fi watching everyone's traffic. And with that terabyte hard drive, I can sit there and download all of it so I can look at it later. So if I want to do something like that, I can have it sit in places and look at it later. All right. And when I say look at it later, I could, at my leisure, go back home, open it up, and I can start typing in keywords, and I can really start parsing through and looking at the data that you pulled, your images, the websites you went to, all of that, because you were on the Wi-Fi. The same can be for Bluetooth, and when your when your phone is always looking for a Bluetooth signal, that's a vulnerability in your phone. That means that someone who knows how can hop into your phone because your phone's looking for it, and they've got a device that says, "Oh, here's a Bluetooth device that you should be talking to," and then boom. It's just, what I'm trying to say is it's a gateway. So when your phone's looking for a when it's looking for Wi-Fi, you have an open gate. All right. When it's got Bluetooth and it's always looking, you've got an open gate. And some of you care, some of you don't care, and a lot of you already know this. So let's take it a step further, and I really want to bring this into a decent enough perspective so that you can understand what I'm saying. So Cadillac made or it has. I saw a commercial where the car is driving itself. Basically, you hit a button and the steering wheel steers itself. All right, car pretty much is driving itself. I don't know why you do that. I don't know if you're gonna what are you gonna go in the back seat and make yourself a drink, or you're gonna be whooping your kids behind. So you tell the car to steer itself. I don't know, but because it can steer itself, and I've done a lot in my life, so I used to be an automotive technician, so I can put two and two together. So a car can steer itself. All right, that means it's got an electronic motor that moves the steering wheel left and right. It doesn't need a person left and right. That function that's a computerized function, and that means that when wirelessly, that means that somebody can get into that car, right, um, and operate that vehicle and make that vehicle run into a wall. And I say this so it's got that motorized function, then it's got OnStar. Because it's got OnStar, that tells me that it's gonna have a MAC address and an IP address. Once you break into those items and you obtain the MAC address and IP address, then you've got the whole library. And I'm trying to make this very simple. It's a little bit more complicated than that. But then you've got the whole library. And when I say library, everything is in a folder, in a file, okay, in your car. And it can do all, unlock the doors, lock the doors. That's one file. Steering wheel, left, right. That's another file. How fast the car is going, the wheel speed sensors, all this and that. So that means when you break into that car, you've got access to those files. And you can put voltage to those items. So if you want to put voltage towards making that steering wheel go hard left, you can do it. If you want to slow that car down, you can do it. So things are becoming very, very dangerous to me, and I don't like seeing this. And I really hope that I assisted in helping you understand that as things become more wireless, and then Tesla. I don't know much about Tesla, but I bet you that car is 100% electronic, and that it's got a MAC address and an IP address, and that it can be broken into. So as they're putting you in these vehicles, things are getting more and more dangerous. And when there's an accident or something happens, the government's never held responsible. Those car companies, maybe they could be held responsible, but they've got enough money to go across lawsuits. But these new cars that you're driving, pay attention to them. So if a car can steer itself, and depending on the things that it can do on its own without human hands, pay attention to that, because that's pretty scary. All right, that's really scary. And when things go super wrong, they may or may not end up on the news. It's how would you know? All right, so keep that in mind for things that are super electronic. That goes for things that can unlock your door. Making it very easy to unlock your doors in your house. Maybe you got an app on your phone and it can do that, unlocks the locks on your doors or whatnot. Just know that you're awakening a beast with that. And I've noticed that there's a lot of commercials where there's cameras for your doorbell and whatnot. Well, maybe that's not a big deal to you, but that means that the government or anyone who's capable of breaking into your system can then see through these little cameras. That's the same for Alexa, these devices that we're putting into our houses. That's kind of dumb. That means that it's constantly recording. It's gathering data, and that data is going somewhere. They're saying that it's not. I guarantee you it probably is. So all these devices that are getting put into your house and your cars and whatnot, you are in a very serious surveillance state. And those of you who think you've got nothing to hide, I'm tired of hearing that, because it is your right to have privacy. We've all got something to hide. We are all human beings. We have families. There's always conflicts and things going on with our families. That's nobody else's business. And you really need to think about that before you say something like, I've got nothing to hide. I've got a big problem with that phrase. So please keep that in mind. Now back to these Raspberry Pis here. One thing I could do, see these little pins, these are GPIO pins. I can connect all sorts of devices that are made for this. Proximity sensors, cameras, all sorts of things. And that's just me. This is me as a normal person, regular person. So things can get real crazy. They can get really crazy. And by the way, you know, you guys know that most likely, so the passwords that you use for your email, passwords that you might use for your account with Google or whomever, whatever. Most half the time, or a good amount of your time, your passwords are all the same. Am I right, guys? Your passwords are pretty much all the same. This is very basic hacker knowledge. Okay, so if you gather some passwords for from people, most likely you'll be able to get into something a lot of the times. And some of you think of passwords for different things. Kudos to you. That's great. You know, you're able to think of different passwords. You're way more secure that way. But a lot of people, and you know who you are, if you gather that password that they use continuously, especially someone's ATM and all that, guess who's got your passwords? Facebook's got your passwords. Google's got your passwords for logging in and out of Gmail and other things. Um, Amazon's got your passwords. So these are these are all kind of connected via our government. So if you've got like 3 different passwords from someone, I bet you can get into their stuff. All right, just keep that in mind. That you gotta start getting more creative on passwords. All of us. Okay. Um, I know that's difficult, but you gotta start doing that. And saving passwords into your phone. I mean, you can do that, but just know that that's not that secure because they can go in and out of your phone real easy like nobody's business. All right, it's just a wireless device that's always seeking and can be told data and what to do. So when you think your phone's off, your phone may not be off. It might still have voltage and it might be, it might still be listening in. And Samsung, those smart TVs and all that, it's already written in the literature of their paperwork. When you get these new items and you got all this paperwork in the manual, and in the Samsung devices, it mentions that you are subject to being listened to with the device off. So your security with all these devices has gone out the window. So these are some things to think about. So think about having Alexa in your house. Think about your big smart TV, okay? And all these items and that Cadillac that drives itself. Think of all these things that do their own thing. Me personally, I think that all these things are here um, to surveil you and blackmail people whom they want to do their bidding. There's people who own companies. There's people who are in government, and they've got a lot of pull. And for our government to really get what they want, they know who does what, who's in charge of what, and they make those people do them. All right, end of story. And this has been shown. We've seen a lot of this happening. The government's fucked up right now. Excuse my English. I don't know why we say excuse my French. I mean, I don't speak French. Why am I saying that? It would make no sense. But we've got some serious problems, and it's only getting worse with the surveillance state. So with that being said, all the patriots out there, conservatives, all of that, listen. When you guys get together, or if you've got a very good idea, or for those of you who are able to cure diseases or have the cure for something, when I say cure, really a lot of things, the cure's been out for a long time. But medicine has really taken over. And holistic doctors is a large list. You should look up holistic doctors on YouTube and look at how many doctors have been killed unnaturally, okay? Because they came up with good ideas to make you healthier, to reverse cancer. Cancer doesn't seem to really be that big of a deal. Actually, it can be reversed, and you do not need chemo. So if you want to do your research, you can certainly do that. But Google's not going to help you. You're going to have to do it a different way. They're not going to make it so easy. And these are the things that this is the beast that we're in right now. Is misinformation, false information. So that's a big deal. But for any of you who've got good ideas, who want to gather people, and who really want to stop what's going on, you cannot talk about your details. You can't have details over the phone. You can't have details over email. You can't have details in a text message. You guys are going to need to meet up and meet just word of mouth. You're going to need to see each other face to face. I would suggest either putting cell phones in a different room or putting tape over the receiver, because it's your phone's still going to be listening, and it's still going to be changing your analog voice into digital data, and they'll be able to put you into a file for the certain things that you say. You're going to be saying keywords, hot words. You're going to be saying keywords, and they're going to see who's saying these things, and they'll be tracking you. And this is a big deal. So I need everybody to understand what's going on right now. So yeah, I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much. I'll catch y'all.